But you'll want today a hand towel or a kitchen towel. So something of this size would work. And so a towel, any ball. Tennis ball works if you have a lacrosse ball, or like I use these therapy balls. They're like they're not as slippery as tennis balls. Fair enough, it does get quite difficult to take care of oneself, especially when you don't feel any sort of pain or discomfort. That too, like if you like aren't doing the self-care because you think, oh, I don't have any pain, like you said, or like there's nothing that's bothering me. When it's bothering me, that's when I'll take care of it. And so this is a way to like get into areas where if you don't think there's anything there, when you get into it, you're gonna be like, I didn't realize I had that. So that happens a lot too. Okay. Plus, we want to take care of ourselves when we are feeling the most optimal, because then we can do a lot more with it. So, hand towel, kitchen towel works great. A ball of some sort, preferably tennis ball, lacrosse ball. Could you do this with a golf ball? Maybe. We're going to be using the ball on the wall on our backs, in our shoulders. So a golf ball might be too small, but, and it might be too hard too. So see what you can find. So we'll need that. But we'll just start with a chin to chest stretch. Let our head hang here. Take some time to even think, what are your goals for today? Whether it's in this self-care session or your day. And then slowly lift your head up. And we're going to tip off to one side. Just gentle, some gentle movement. I know for some of us, this is probably one of the first movements we have in our day. You had just woken up. And to the other side. Then let's tip to the right. To the left. And then we're going to roll our head down through center and to the right. And then look up as we're tipped. And then we're going to roll back down through center to the left. We're stretching the front scalenes on each side instead of straight in the middle. So rolling through center and to the other side. Look up. And through center to the left. Look up. Through to center and hang here. Let go of those shoulders. See if you happen to have inched them up as we did the last stretch. And then slowly bring your head back up to center. Hey, and force. Welcome in. So let's do shoulder rolls. We're going to roll our shoulders back, and we're going to only roll back today. Just pulling back, and now we're gonna shrug up. And then exaggerate, pushing back. Pulling down. And then forward. Hey Travis. I think so. I think we're ready for what is next. Shouldering your shoulders up and back. Down. And forward. So now, keeping this exaggeration as we flow through this backward shoulder roll, but keeping things moving. She's just hanging out. Oh, yep, you are. Let's do one more. Never. Okay, release. Maybe shake it out. Maybe you can notice some things, some twinginess in the shoulders as we did that exaggerated shoulder roll. Okay, so take your towel, fold it into thirds. This straight up video game interaction. What do you mean? Alright, take your towel, fold it into thirds. Yep, Riku's helping. So it looks something like this. And then you're going to take your towel, you're going to hold it on one hand on each end, and you're going to bring it out in front of you. So now make sure you have ample space. And let's lift our head over our shoulders. And back to the front. Okay, Travis. So as we do this, you can do this one of two ways. You can keep it slack and not much of a grip, just more of the fact that you're holding on to this towel and keeping your arms like this. Like, I don't understand. I'm not centered. I figure this out. Riku loves to help. Okay. I think it's because I have things slacked and it makes it a little bit more difficult for me to figure out where center is. But if you hold the ends of your towels and you pull outwards to the side, it actually adds isometric strengthening. If you want it to be more of a strengthening with mobility, you can do it that way, or just keeping it loose and doing it for mobility. So up to you of what you would like for today. So as we just move the towel back, you can go all the way down, all the way up. The center is stuck in the middle. The center is, but I feel like my arms want to go this way. And that might be because, as we do this, I've noticed I have a little bit of a twinge on my left side when I was doing the shoulder rolls. So I think there's some things that need to be worked on. And I think that's why things are leaning more one way than the other. But okay. Then we're going to go pause at the top. And then we're going to tip to the left. And then back through center and tip to the right. So if you were here last night, we did something similar to this. And through center and tip to the left. And we can pause for a little bit here too. We don't need to keep moving. Last night we were kind of going on a breath of 4 counts and up, or 8 counts and up. We're just going to go here, hold for a breath or two, and then go moving up through center. And let's go to the right and pause. And as we do this, make sure that that shoulder is rolled back. Let's go through center and to the right. Making sure that we're not collapsing towards the front. Another thing that can be helpful is to pretend like your back and your arms are against a wall as you do this. I suppose you could stand up next to the wall and do the same thing. Let's do one more each side at your own pace. And back up to the top. If you need a break, take a break. If you want to stay up here with your arms up high, it can be a little bit of a strengthening test too. So we're going to twist and bring your arms down and back up. What is your opinion on? What do you mean? For what? SBD. And twist. Bring the shoulder, arms down, back up, twist through center, arms down to the left. Up, twist through center, to right, and up. So this one we're going to keep moving. I forgot. Oh. The stream is so calming that SBG's mind melted. But welcome in, SBG. Okay, let's go to the top. And let's bring it back. Just kind of nice arch in our back. Feel a good stretch in our shoulders. And okay, you can release those arms. Check it out. I know we had them up for a little while. Just keep your towel. We're going to use it behind ourselves. If you're sitting on a chair like mine, you need to sit on the edge of your chair so you're half on, half off. And then bring the towel behind you. Otherwise, sit at your chair sideways. And let's bring the towel behind you, and all we're going to do is lift and then lower. Lift, lower. And as we lift, make sure you're not doing one of these. Okay, we don't want to do that. We also don't want to collapse into our shoulders either, so keeping everything back. If that means not lifting as high, don't lift as high. So, lift and lower. Again, you can keep more tension on the towel or keep it slack. Up to you. For the next lift, we're going to hold at the lift. And then we're going to just go from side to side. So just moving that towel from side to side. Just getting some good mobility into our shoulders. We're not so much stretching. We're just getting some good movement. Okay, and release. Let go. We're done with the towel. So you can place that to the side. Let's do a tricep stretch. For those of us who are holding onto the towel, probably are feeling it here. So bringing your arm up overhead and bending the arm and then grabbing hold of the elbow and pulling back. And switch sides. Switch. If you want to extend this into a trap stretch, you're also going to turn your head towards the elbow that's up and then look down. The head up, so let's switch arms. Again, looking towards the elbow and then looking down. Bring the head up and then slowly release the arms. Shake it out. So now we're going to do some rotator cuff strengthening. So our shoulders, let's tell you a little bit about it. It's a ball and socket, right? So you have the head of the humerus, there's like a ball there, and then you have this cap that sits on top of it. Now there's like this fluid that's in there, and you have a lot of muscles attached there. I mean, muscles, tendons, to ligaments that attach there. And if those muscles aren't strong, or if we have injuries, the cap doesn't move where it needs to go and actually can get stuck in different areas. So we need those muscles to be healthy so that we can keep things to be free flowing as our shoulder moves about. So that's kind of like what happens when injuries occur. So as we do this, just note that if you have any pain, like a lot of pain, to stop, to not to continue. You can see about moving into the next one. We're going to isolate the rotator cuff muscles. So you have 4 of them. We're going to do 3 different exercises or 3 different strengthening that's going to help for each. Well, there's like a muscle that will be worked when we work on another muscle because it's so close to each other. And then if you have a little discomfort, you should be okay to move through. But just know your limits, know what you can and can't do, and use your judgment. So we're gonna start with which one do we want to start with first? Let's do this. You're gonna actually have to standing up on this one, because we need our arms out to our sides. Arms to our sides, and then taking your left arm and holding on to your right arm. So what we're gonna do, before you do it, just watch me first, is we're gonna bring our right arm out about this 10-degree angle. And as we bring it out, we're actually gonna be pulling out, but also pushing with resistance with our left hand against it. So we're gonna go through a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out here. And then we're going to use that same resistance, but reverse it, going back down. So still maintaining this resistance as we bring our arm back down to the side. So that's eccentric resistance. That's where a lot of the strengthening can occur. So let's start. Arms to our side, our left hand holding on to our right arm. And then pushing with resistance with both arms. So trying to move that arm out to that 10-degree angle, nice and slow, at like a roughly count of 10, while holding and pulling with our other arm at about, I would say, 60 to 80% of your strength. And then reverse, pushing into that hand as we go down. And again, let's push outward with resistance and reverse, back in. Try not to lock the knees. And push out. And with resistance, reversing back in, pushing into that hand. So I'm using that right arm pushing into my left hand as my left hand is pushing into my right arm. Okay, let's do it one more time. Reverse. Okay, release, shake it out. We're gonna do the same on the other side. So taking our right arm, our right hand onto our left arm, and then pushing into our arm and hand into arm as we push out to that 10-degree angle, and then reversing that back in, maintaining that resistance. And push out. And resistance back in. Push out. If you need a break, take a break. And back in, maintaining that resistance. It's weird on that back end because usually we're so used to like pushing resistance outward. It's different. And back in. Release, shake it out. And then we're gonna take our right arm, bring our elbow into our body, have our arm out in front of us. Taking our left hand and we're gonna place it onto our forearm. And we're gonna move that arm out without resistance, just moving that arm out until you feel the resistance of your range of motion, until you can't go any further, okay? So you know where that is. Okay, now you know where that is. Now, just mental note, that's where that is. Come back to almost center. And then I'm at like this 45-degree angle, so you can kind of see I'm not quite in center, I'm about 45 degrees, because that's where my range of motion is. I would say go between where you're furthest back and center to go in the middle of whatever that is for you. This might be your max. So just find out where that is. And taking your hand, placing it on your forearm, you're going to be pulling with your hand back to center as you push your arm back into space. Probably you're going to be stuck at that point of resistance where your range of motion is. And then you're going to do the same, reversing it back, pulling back all the way through center, but holding and reversing that, pushing into the hand as you pull back to center. It's a little getting used to. And let's go back, outward. Maybe you can go a little bit further. And back inwards. And pushing out. Marco. And resistance, pulling the arm in, but maintaining, pushing into that hand. One more time. To center. Release, shake it out, other side. So bringing the left arm in, elbow into the body. The right hand on top. Going out till you find that resistance point to find where that is. Okay, note. Coming back to center. And then with resistance, pushing into the hand, pulling on that hand on the arm. Let's go out to that point. And then maintaining, pushing into the hand now as we move the arm back into center. And pushing the arm out. Make sure that you are not moving your upper body, that this is isolated into the arm only. It's okay if you get the shakes. And reverse, moving the arm back to center while maintaining resistance. Let's push out. Don't lock the knees. And back in. One more time, pushing out. And back in. Release. Shake it out. One more. We have one more. So you're going to bring, let's go to the other side. The right arm in front with your forearm out facing me. So we're going to start like kind of close to our body, and we're going to be moving our arm up. But we're not going to go to our full range of motion with this muscle. We're only going to go to that 10%. So bringing the left arm, placing it on top of the right forearm. Instead of like flailing this arm out, still try to keep maintaining holding the elbow in, but at the same time, we also are going to be lifting that elbow up. Just be mindful that you're not way out here as we do this. Okay, so have the position of your arm in front, hand on top of your arm. You're going to be pressing into your forearm and your forearm into your hand as we lift up at that 10-degree angle. Nice and slow. And then pushing up into our hand and our hand down as we move our arm back down into the body. I'm going to show you from the side. So we're going to be pushing into the hand into the arm as we move the arm up to this 10-degree angle. And then pushing into the hand as we move the arm down back into the body. You can see I'm not moving very much. I'm going really nice and slow too. And I can definitely feel it. It's not uncomfortable. I can just tell that I'm gaining strength here. Things are shaking. And back down. Release. Shake it out. Let's go the other side. So arm in front, left arm, right hand on top. Pushing into the hand into the arm, and lifting the arm up. And bringing the arm down while maintaining resistance. And pushing up. And down. Up. And down. Remember, 60 to 80% of your strength, not your full strength. And pushing up. Maintain resistance. And reverse. Going down, but maintaining resistance, pushing into that hand. And release. Shake it out. We're going to do some twists here. Let those arms flap. All right, grab your ball. And we're going to go to the wall. I know that rhymes. No, actually, don't grab your ball. We're going to actually sit down and do some things. I know we're already standing, but we're going to do a few different points before we go to the wall. So sit down, have a break. Get some water if you have water. So we're going to do a little self-massage first before we go to the wall and do more massage. So taking, I would say, 2 of your stronger fingers. Usually it's the pointer and the ring finger your strongest, but whatever that is, just taking those 2. Don't do this with 1 finger. You could do it with multiple, but you're going to grab your levator scapula, which is the muscle that attaches to the scapula. So your scapula is the shoulder blade that we all, like if we had wings, that's where they would be. Okay, so that it's on top. Here's where that levator scapula attaches to, and it runs up into the neck. It also seems like it's right on the trap. Trap is around there as well. But we want to massage right here in this little circle. To find this spot, to lift and lower your shoulder. So lift and lower your shoulder and find the muscle that is activating in the process of lifting and lowering. That's the muscle that's doing that. So find that muscle that's doing the motion, and that's right where you want to massage. So little circles there. And then you can even go into trap, the whole trap. It's a very big area. At least getting into this area, the shoulder, massage to there. And when I say hitch your fingers together so they're one. So take those 2 strong fingers, hold them together so they're one, and use that together. Into circles here. You can circle into the neck, into the occipital ridge, which is the muscles along the base of the skull that helps our head move into yes and no. So explore, and at least getting that levator scapula muscle, the one that lifts and lowers the shoulder. Because I know some of you guys know or don't realize that you're doing it, be like, yeah, I definitely do that, is throughout the day we have a tendency of lifting our shoulders to our ears. It just happens. You can train your shoulders to not do it. I've done some different things like that in the past, but releasing this muscle will help deactivate the muscle so that when our brain wants to turn off the muscle so we're not using it, it'll be turned off instead of it being activated all the time. Let's switch sides. Give that arm a break and find that levator scapula muscle. Again, it is top of the scapula towards the spine, not on the spine. Lift and lower shoulder to find the muscle that's being activated. At least you can feel where the scapula is moving. You might actually feel like a clicking sensation. It's tight, okay, or not. But that's where you want to rub. So with those 2 fingers glued together, pretend you have glued together fingers as we massage here. It's best to support your fingers in this process. You don't want to injure our fingers. And then massaging into the whole trap. to the neck, to the skull, like the occipital ridge. Now we're going to get the pec muscles. So in the front is our pec muscle. Taking our fists, we're going to rub that front part. So just in front of that shoulder. It might be actually quite sore. Just be mindful of your pressure, especially if you're digging in with your knuckles of your hand. We are often always working in front of ourselves, being on the computer, being on our phones, texting. These get really tight. A lot of the muscles in the front of our body is why our posture isn't where it is that we need to actually release the front of the body to help our posture. Right, now finding the pec minor. So the pec minor muscle, if you have, here's the head of the shoulder. And then down from there. And it's not, so armpit, not in the armpit. So just below the shoulder and right in front. And you can move the shoulder back and forth. I understand. I'm wearing black and I have a black chair and it's hard to see. So moving the shoulder forward and back to find that pec muscle that is doing the work. Okay, find that. And you'll know when you're on it. Okay, find that. And then you're going to hold there. So we're going to hold on that. So we're only going to hold this for a little while. If you're doing this on your own, you can hold it from like 30 seconds to 90 seconds. This muscle does a lot of work. Just a little thing. Usually the littlest muscle in the body does the most work. You'd think it'd be the opposite. Okay, release, let's go to the other side. Taking your fist and rubbing along that pec muscle. Finding the pec minor by moving your shoulder forward and back. It is below the head of the humerus. So below the shoulder joint itself. I guess head of the humerus is way up here. So sorry. It's more in front of that. Following the line down. Not in the armpit, but really close to the armpit. And moving that shoulder forward and back. You can find the muscle that's being activated. And hold there. Release. Standing back up, we're going to go to the wall, grab your ball. And we're going to start with our deltoids. So we're going to bring the ball, we're going to hold it onto this top third of the arm. So if you were to take from your elbow to the top of your shoulder and divide it into 3. It's going to be the top third. So probably right where if you have sleeves, like short sleeves, probably right where the short sleeve is, that's where we're going to place the ball. And we're going to place it on against the wall. So you're going to be standing at the side. And then you're just going to squat. And if you want more pressure, step further away from the wall, and do the same thing. And then turning more towards the wall, you might need to adjust your feet so that we get the front part of the deltoid a little bit into that bicep tendon. And then going back to center and then turning outward to get the back. We're not getting into the tricep at all. We're just getting to the back half of that deltoid. The deltoid like wraps around the whole sleeve, as you could say, of that upper arm. Release. Let's go to the other side. So again, ball that top third of the arm against the wall, stepping out until you find whatever depth pressure you would like, and little squats. Turning towards the wall. Again. So about a 45-degree angle from the wall. And then back to center, and then going outward. Squats. Ball fell from the wall. Pick it up, start over. Back through center, release. And then we're gonna take the ball and we're gonna place it, pretend like you have like a backpack. If you had a backpack and where those straps would be, that's where we're gonna place the ball. So the ball is gonna be right here. Then we're gonna go against the wall. So finding a spot so that the ball doesn't slip. And then standing our feet out from the wall depending on your pressure. Now, if you can't feel much, it's okay, you're gonna feel something in a moment, because what we're gonna do when you're in position is we're going to lift and lower that arm of the side where the ball is at. So by the time you get to your arm to the top, to the sky, that's probably right where you're going to feel. And if you can't feel it, move and shift the ball down just a little bit and see if that's a better position. And then keeping that same side, we're going to drop and shift the ball down. Thanks for the follow, Altera. Into the shoulder blade, so between the shoulder blade and the spine, that's where we're going to put the ball. Now, if you have a sock, like a long sock, like a tube sock, you can put the ball in the sock and then fling that over your shoulder and then shimmy to where you need it. That might be the best thing to do. I'm pretty flexible. I can find where I need to be. But the sock, it makes it really easy. So, ball on the wall, at the scapula, between the scapula and the spine, not on the spine. So find a good spot between the shoulder blade and the spine. And stepping away from the wall to find that pressure that you'd like. We're going to start with little squats here. Hi, Hammy. Then we're gonna hold and moving our arm across the side. I know. I should have warned ya. So it's moving across to the side, and now like take this slow. You don't have to reach so far. You can go to like here and be like, oh my gosh. Yes, if you can, I'm sure most of you can feel this. It feels really nice. As we reach across, back. If you'd rather, if this is too intense, a few different things you can do. Having a ball and a sock adds a little cushion. Taking a towel between you and the ball will add cushion. You could also just hang out on a spot that it particularly feels sore. Releasing how much space you have between your feet and the wall will also decrease your pressure. And then we're gonna move the arm up and into this like side, and like a half semicircle. Let's release the ball and switch sides. So going to the other side. Again, if you had a backpack, where would those straps be? That's where we're going to place the ball. And against the wall. Find your placement. Adjust where you want your feet, of how intense you want it. Further away from the wall, the more intense. And when you're ready, you're going to lift and lower the arm with the ball on that side. So we're currently on our left side. Maybe you don't lift as high. Maybe you're here. Maybe the range of motion you have isn't all the way, and this is where you're at. That's okay. We do this to our own limits. So whatever our limits are, that's where we go. We don't go beyond our limits. And then reaching across and back. I see you, RBZ, but I can't read your message at the moment. So reaching across again. Holding still if you need to. And then we're going to bring that into this half semicircle. Meow, meow, meow. Is that an Aaron I see? Hello. Release. So feel free to hang out on the wall and repeat any of those that we've done.